Life on the Isle of Wight, a picturesque island nestled off England's southern coast, has long been painted as idyllic, offering serene landscapes and a slower pace of living. However, for many locals, this dream has turned into a frustrating ordeal, thanks to soaring ferry prices and unreliable services that have left them feeling trapped. Imagine paying an eye-watering £440 for a return trip to the mainland, an expense that has made even the most devoted islanders reconsider their once-beloved home. As ferry companies impose increasingly prohibitive costs, residents find themselves asking, is living in paradise worth the price of feeling isolated and held to ransom? The Isle of Wight, with its tranquil beaches and charming villages, was once considered a haven for those seeking a peaceful life. But for many of its residents, the reality has become anything but serene. The island's ferry services, primarily run by Idyllic and Red Funnel, have implemented a flexible airline pricing model that has driven up the cost of travel to astonishing levels, particularly during peak times like the Isle of Wight Festival and Cows Week. A return journey can now cost as much as £440, leaving locals feeling squeezed out of their own communities. The situation has reached a boiling point, with residents like 62-year-old Bronwyn Hamilton Brown, a retired head teacher, spearheading the Idyllic users group to campaign against what they see as exploitation. The group, which has amassed nearly 8,000 members on Facebook, has organized protests and fought for better services, particularly after the last passenger ferry was cut to an early 8:20 p.m. during the COVID-19 pandemic. This curfew has left residents like Bronwyn feeling completely cut off from society, as essential travel to the mainland for medical appointments or to see loved ones has become a logistical nightmare. The island's limited healthcare services exacerbate the problem, forcing many to travel to mainland hospitals for treatment. Take the case of Paula Brizzledon and her partner, Chris Tunnell, who suffer from severe health issues that require regular trips to Portsmouth. With no renal unit on the Isle of Wight, Chris must travel monthly for life-saving dialysis. The couple, however, cannot afford the car ferry, and so they rely on the more affordable, but far less convenient, passenger ferry and bus services. Paula's anguish is palpable as she recounts the time when an ambulance carrying her critically ill partner was delayed because there was no space on the ferry, a situation that could have had fatal consequences. The story of the Isle of Wight's ferry woes doesn't end with healthcare. The impact of these exorbitant prices and unreliable services extends to all aspects of life on the island, affecting everything from employment to family relationships. Islanders like Richard Haywood, whose wife was born on the island, express frustration over the ferry company's marketing slogans, which claim to keep families together, while in reality, the policies make it difficult for families to stay connected. The multi-link pass, a supposed solution for frequent travelers, is restrictive and expensive, with lump sum payments ranging from £350 to £1,500 and limited usability during peak times. The ripple effects of these ferry issues are far-reaching. Islanders like Jackie Devonshire, who moved to the island with dreams of a peaceful retirement, now can't wait to leave. The difficulties in travel have also hampered the recruitment of essential professionals, such as doctors and teachers, further isolating the community. Jackie's story is a stark reminder of the human cost of these ferry services, as even specialists have turned down positions on the island to avoid being separated from their families. Local business owners are also feeling the pinch. Simon Jackson, who manages a utility hub on the island, recently launched a petition to bring national attention to the issue, gathering over 4,000 signatures in a matter of days. For Simon, the ferry's skyrocketing prices have meant fewer visits to his family on the mainland, a sacrifice that is all too common among residents. Despite the difficulties, Simon remains hopeful that new political leadership will bring change, but he knows it won't be easy. His call for official regulation of ferry companies underscores the urgency of the situation, as locals struggle to afford what should be a basic right, the ability to travel to and from their homes. Robbie Lane, an islander who runs the Isle of Wight Guru website, offers a more pragmatic perspective. He recognizes the impact of the ferries on tourism and the local economy, and his website is filled with tips on how to navigate the expensive and unpredictable ferry services. Yet even Robbie acknowledges that the flexible pricing model has created a situation where travelers on the same ferry can pay vastly different amounts, creating winners and losers in a game that no one wants to play. As the Isle of Wight's ferry crisis continues to unravel, the island's residents find themselves at a crossroads. For some, the allure of island life has faded, replaced by the frustration of being held hostage by ferry companies whose prices and policies are driving people away. The question now is whether change will come in time to save the community, or if the island's once thriving population will dwindle as more locals decide they've had enough. What remains clear is that the idyllic image of the Isle of Wight is increasingly at odds with the harsh reality faced by its residents, a reality where the cost of living in paradise is simply too high.